It's a great opportunity to get close to the shoreline here in Ward Cove to look for wildlife. You'll see that we can get our vessel just about within an arm's reach of Ward Cove shoreline here and still have 60 to 80 feet of water below us. And that is due to the fact this cove was glacially carved. You can see signs of that glaciation to the right here on this shoreline beside us. And you'll notice a sharp line in which the trees end before it becomes rocks and it heads into the water. That indicates the highest of our tide level. Ketchikan is home to about a 22 to 24 foot tidal differential. That's vertical feet at the tide. Great start to our eagle viewing this morning. Now if you're on the bow of the boat or if you're in the lower main cabin, you may want to sneak out to the bow all the way forward. This will be a really great photo op. And once I sneak the bow in here, I'll turn the vessel so those of you on the upper deck can view these birds as well.
Turned his
Don't
head.
see the jellyfish.
On the upper deck, it'll be on the right-hand side here in just a moment. Boy, look at that to the right of us. If you've got binoculars nearby, don't hesitate to view these birds through binoculars. That really provides an intimate viewing experience, even though we're fairly close.
You get this one eating?
That's right.
Wow.
I have many more pairs of binoculars in the wheelhouse here if you need some.
So this is a juvenile. It's like halfway into a juvenile. So it's getting that white tag. So it's still almost like no gray.
What?
Isn't that cool?
Oh, they're singing to each other. How lovely.
Well, we are going to continue on with
From that square. This is apparently an eagle's nest.
and certainly don't hesitate to ask a deckhand for help finding these nests as we go along.
And it is a round shape. It's almost like a C-shape. That's the brush using our spot. But try out the hardest one. They're not trying to show you their nest. They don't want people to see them really. So.
And if you weren't able to get eyes on this nest, don't worry, there are more nests to see on the tour route, some of which are quite a bit closer and easier to find. So we will continue on, see what else we can find today. Well, you'll be able to see that boathouse shortly, but off to the left-hand side of us, ahead of us on this little island, another eagle.
I've lost the person. I think we want
So we'll see if we can't get a little closer for you. To the right of us, that boathouse that the narrator was mentioning, as well as a harbor called Air Marine Harbor, where you can see both aircrafts and boats share the harbor space. Seaplanes will pull right up to the dock, right up on top of the dock, in an effort to keep their floats out of the water for saltwater damage. And this little island ahead of us, Long Island. This one named after Tim and Kay Long, who live there with their daughter. They are the caretakers of the Spears Mansion. And I'd like to point this little island out first. That beach beyond the Heron there is a public access beach called Refuge Cove State Park. Popular destination for locals on evenings like this one. Surely will be a beautiful time to watch the sunset here. Build a fire, cook a meal. Now, a couple of years ago in the Juneau area, there was an eagle's nest in close proximity to a power line.
Fishing, you know. Later, maybe they're done. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when you imagine the heap of eagles sharing that nest, having about a 7-foot wingspan, you can imagine why they might be
55 or 60 feet in length. It would be home to as many as 50 or more natives at one time. Clown houses could be disassembled with the removal of a few key pegs. You see, no screws, bolts, or nails were used in its construction. And after disassembling the clown house, the young men could carry the pieces down to the waterfront where they could be bundled together and, much like a raft, floated to a new location. One of the world's first mobile homes. Many of the other totem poles are now coming into view. One of those totem poles I will tell you the legend of.
The legend we're going to be hearing about is the pole second from the left over there in the series. You can see at the top of it a large area uncarved until you get to the bottom where you see a woman holding 2 salmon there.
The legend of Fog Woman states that she arose out of the early morning misty fog and was beckoned ashore by the village chief. The chief, seeing that she was a very beautiful woman, she discovered that the village was nearly starving, so she returned to the water's edge. She dipped her hands into the water and sprinkled droplets about. Each droplet became a living salmon, and thus the village became well fed. The chief was happy because Fog Woman lived there with him, but he became envious of her powers and one day demanded those powers from her. She refused to give them up, and in anger the chief struck Fog Woman. That was a bad idea. Fog Woman left the chief. She left the village, and like any vengeful and spiteful woman, she took her salmon with her. But like any loving woman, she had come to adore the children of the village, and for the benefit of the children, she allows the salmon to return to these waters once a year. The legend of Fog Woman explaining why these waters are filled with salmon every summertime, where now native and white men alike can feast upon their abundance.
Yesterday on the Emerald Princess.
Yeah, you know you're getting a carnival ride here too. Now we are cruising what I refer to as the high rent district here in Ketchikan. See, the topography of this area underneath the water surface is very similar to what you see above the water surface. We've got mountains and valleys happening underneath the water. just like you see all around you here. So this reef to the left of us is what you might consider the peak of an underwater mountain that rises up from nearly 300 feet of depth in the channel. One more home I'd like to point out on the right of us here. A huge gray house at 2 o'clock with a giant white garage door. Now you might notice that there is no road that leads to that garage. Well, what is that about? Well, these folks, both of them helicopter pilots, they house their 2 helicopters in that garage. No need for a road. They have made their millions in the tourism industry. If you've been to Juneau, or maybe you're headed there next, these folks own the Red Dog Saloon. Yeah. As well as a number of shops in downtown Ketchikan. And many of you know now that the pillar of our industry is tourism. So it makes me grateful that you guys came out with us today. Get to see my hometown from the view I love the most here on the water. And what else I can happen? Top-notch right here, glassy waters. So we will be departing the coastline of Revillagigedo Island to the right of us here, and we're going to be making our way out towards Guard Island, in the middle of the channel there where our lighthouse resides. Between us and that fishing boat, they just are coming up every now and then. There's a little glimpse of them. Now they stay really close to the water. They don't show their bodies very much, so it's kind of difficult to see at a distance. But they look kind of like a miniature killer whale. Have a similar color marking.
That's hard to do.
Look at that beautiful eagle on top of the light there. Now again, this light was built in 1904. It was the first light lit in the state of Alaska. So it's got a pretty special piece of our Alaskan history. And we're going to pause here for a moment, see if folks can get photographs. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this is really not the tall East Coast cylindrical lighthouse that I was imagining. Well, you're right, definitely, but for good reason. This light was actually the second structure built here. The first one blew down in a storm. And I realize on a day like today, it's going to take a little imagination. But it is not uncommon for us to get wind speeds upwards of 120 miles an hour here at Guard Island. Especially in the wintertime, we get extreme weather. So when they built the second structure, they built it slightly shorter on a concrete foundation to withstand that extreme weather that we oftentimes experience here. Stellar sea lions in the water to the left of us. You see that bull kelp just to the left, almost 9 o'clock to us now. Take a look.
I see him.
See them right here.
I
See some kelp on the other side of the kelp.
Almost rearward of us now.
Sometimes the breach is a solitary event, but at other times they will repeat the whale then circle the school of fish and exhale a steady stream of air, thus creating bubbles that will rise as they surround the school of fish. The fish, sensing an enemy approaching from all sides, will congregate in the middle and head for the surface to get away. That is when the whale pursues them, gulps them down with
that sea lion coming in and out of the water.
He's like, I've been spotted. Bye. There he is. Oh no. Oh no. Can't see what I'm doing.
It's so difficult to really appreciate the size of sea lions when you're only seeing them in the water like that with their little heads out. But an adult male stellar sea lion can reach weights of 1,500 pounds. Oh, you can see him with that sun lighting up his face there.
What did we just do?
We were on a boat.
We was looking at eagles and stuff. But we are done with this one now.
There's lots more to do to Ketchikan.
I'm looking forward to seeing every town and eating a big gigantic crab leg. Stay tuned, more to come. What's he doing?
He's taking pictures of the girls.
I guess so. Cold, wintry, snowy, rainy, drizzly, 70-degree sunny day here in Ketchikan.
Yeah.
We're walking this little boardwalk thing on our way down to Creek Street because our ship couldn't park anywhere near it, apparently. There's our ship. And there's the ships that parked closer. I think we have the biggest one. That's probably why we're down at this. I don't know. I have no idea.
We come every 20 minutes.
So now she's working in the house.
Here we go.
You see the salmon swimming?
Mm-hmm.
See all the dead salmon on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you can get photos to go.
So the sun going everywhere. Where cool picture
Want to take all those stairs?
No, not great.
Fish hatchery, fish ladder, this way.
it off down, makes them bigger. Take care.
Yep. All right,
I know,
man.
I got it. I know, you got it.
I got you.
That's funny.
Like that guy.
That's your kind of people.
That's my kind of people right there. New York people.
Yeah.
Backwoods girl up in the early morning, hauling water in a cold snowstorm. Can't believe all the things that you do. Who couldn't love a backwoods woman like you? You walk 4 miles through the wind and rain. Cabin's cold, but you never complain. Can't believe all the things that you do. Who couldn't love a backwoods woman like you? Who couldn't love the way you keep that smile upon your face? Your way of telling me there's such a thing as harmony. Who couldn't love the way you keep that smile upon your face? Your way of telling me there's such a thing as harmony. Backwoods girl, I'm wearing the shirt you wore. Biscuits cooking on a hot wood stove. Can't believe all the things you can do. Who couldn't love a backwoods woman like you? Who couldn't love a backwoods woman like you?
John Muir in 1878, 79. We'd be looking out there, and we'd see a Tlingit village, and we'd see the totems of that village would be facing us toward the water. So as we say, what days out of the year is gathering time. Right now, people are putting up fish. Fish camp is just about done, and people are smoking their fish, canning their fish, getting ready for hunting season, gathering berries, you know, getting everything they can from the land. In the summer, they cut grass, the grass that grows on the shoreline, it's called bear grass, and they split it and dry it, and then they dye it. And they use it to border designs in their baskets and stuff. There are 3 fish here called echelon. It's a candle fish, it's really fat. And they would gather the fish for echelon, and then they would take them into the interior, because in the interior you got game meat, you know, you got moose, you got caribou, you got Dall sheep, but none of those animals are fat. There's no marine mammals in there. Marine mammals are real fat. But you take these candlefish, and these candlefish are nothing but oil. And you actually dry them and light them and use them as a candle, hence the name candlefish. But yeah, so the Tlingit were the traders that had these trails that went into the interior. And one of those trails, we were about